Welcome everyone. Today is day 3 of our demo series on business analyst training program. So far on our day 1 and day 2, we have tried to cover the basics of business analyst, okay, so that you have a fair deal of expectations or understanding of what a BA is supposed to be working. Along with that, we also covered few other aspects like what are some of the prerequisites if you want to become a BA, what kind of knowledge do you require, how we at Harsha Trainings are going to help you with the training program that we have curated. Along with that, what are the growth prospects that look like for a BA? What are some of the challenges that you might face? Are there any certifications that are required? Because we have covered all those topics along with going over in detail the curriculum that we have planned, the timeline of the curriculum, what kind of activities we have planned, and all that stuff. Okay. On day 3, like I said earlier, we will be covering few of the commonly asked questions. Yeah. So we will start with the first one as what's the difference between a BA and a Scrum Master? Okay. Most often people ask this question because both are non-coding role. Okay. People say that as a business on analyst, you don't have to do any coding. As a Scrum Master, you don't have to write any programs. Okay, you don't need to have a programming language knowledge. So, what essentially is the difference between the two? Okay? So, to start with, a business analyst, or I'll be writing an abbreviation only BA. So, BA essentially works with stakeholders, particularly client, to understand their requirements. Okay, or what we put technically is BA maintains the requirement backlog. Okay, so suppose if a client says I have 20 requirements. Okay, so what those 20 requirements are, the elicitation of 20 requirements, creating the required number of requirement documents, okay, communicating that with the team. So essentially the entire requirement backlog is maintained by the BA. BA is essentially telling the team what are the different work that are coming in our pipeline. Okay, so these are the different set of works that we have for our team. Okay. On the other hand, a scrum master is someone who is considered an expert of scrum practices. Okay, whose essential duty is to guide the team on scrum practices. Okay, say for example, BA has created a requirement document but did not create the user story, or a BA does not know how to create a user story. So Scrum Master's responsibility is to educate the BA on what a user story is, why user story is needed, how to create a user story, what tool do we have in our organization, what kind of trainings are there. Okay, so Scrum Master is an expert on Scrum practices. Okay, so they will essentially be guiding team on what are some of the daily protocols that we have to follow when we are in Scrum methodology. Okay, so BA doesn't have to look at how many members do I have in my team, what should be done by each member, who will create user story. Okay, as a BA, I can focus purely on interacting with clients, getting my requirements, managing those requirements, communicating those requirements to my team. Okay, the other nuances around those, like what tools to use, how do we communicate with our team? Should we be communicating via meetings? Should we be communicating via emails, pings? Okay. Those things can be taken care by the Scrum Master. Okay. A BA, like I said, will primarily be working with clients, okay, to get the requirements. A Scrum Master, on the other hand, will primarily be okay. Managing is not the right word. Actually, Scrum practices say that there's no manager in Scrum. But essentially, if you look at different organizations, that's what Scrum Masters will do. They will ask everyone, like, have they, how much work they have completed, if the work is 10% complete or 20% complete. Are they facing any challenges in their work? What kind of challenges are they facing? And then Scrum Master will go out and find how that challenge can be resolved or removed. Okay. So essentially, the Scrum practice says Scrum Masters are more of a guide, but the way organizations implement the role of a Scrum Master, it's more about managing the team, whether everyone has work or not, or whether everyone is 100% occupied or not, who will be available when someone is going out of office, how much work has been completed, how much work is still pending, are we on track to finish everything, are there any challenges, those kind of stuffs. Okay. So you can say Scrum Master is more about managing people, ensuring that they have the right set of work, they have the right set of tools. As a BA, you don't manage people. Okay, you don't have to tell someone what they need to do. All you care about is interact with clients, understand requirements, elicit those requirements, create a document, requirement document, communicate the document, or share the document with your team. You don't have to tell your team who will work on which requirement. Okay? You don't have to tell your team why the work is not completed. Okay, the delivery of the work lies with the Scrum Master. Now, the third difference that is there is BA is a technical role, okay, whereas Scrum Master is non-technical. Okay. Now, why do I say that? So, essentially, every person who is directly involved in constructing or building a software or software development basically forms the technical role. For example, BA will get the requirement. Based on that requirement, a developer will write the code. Okay, whatever code the developer has written, some QA or tester will do the testing. Okay. So these three people, BA, developer, and tester, they will be working closely in order to get the software into its final shape. So these three form your core technical team. Not the only technical team, but core technical team. Scrum Master, on the other hand, is not directly contributing into software development, but indirectly contributing, like asking you what challenges do you have. Okay, you say, if you say, I don't know or I'm not good at coding, maybe Scrum Master will connect you to a senior developer who is good at coding so that you both can talk to each other and resolve your doubts. So, Scrum Master directly is not helping you in order for you to gain your technical expertise, but indirectly helping you. As a BA, if I go to Scrum Master and say that the client is not giving me requirements on time, for last two meetings, the client keeps on canceling the meetings. So if this continues, how will we get requirements on time? So as a Scrum Master may not be able to directly provide a solution, but Scrum Master might be able to connect you to a product owner. That why don't you go and check with this product owner, or let me set up a meeting with the product owner so that you both can talk and resolve the issues. Okay. So Scrum Master is not technical role, as they are not directly providing any contribution to software development, but their contribution is more of indirect in nature. Okay. They are more worried about how people are operating rather than how the software is operating. Okay. Whereas a BA, developer, QA, or tester, they are more worried about how the software operates. And that's where the fourth key difference comes between BA and Scrum Master. In my experience, and what I have seen so far, particularly with what happened during COVID, BA being technical role, job security is better as a BA. Okay. So what essentially happened during COVID is some of the Scrum Masters from our team were laid off, and BAs were told that you play the role of a Scrum Master. Okay. Because during COVID, people were not sure how long will it last, okay, whether the work will come or not. So for 1 year or so, that's how the industry operated. And then after 1 year, people realized that we are getting more work because of COVID. Okay. So then they started hiring the Scrum Master positions back. But whenever there are tough times, difficult situations, what people essentially tend to do is the non-technical people are the first one to be targeted. For example, people into PMO roles or HR operations or Scrum Master, okay, non-technical role. I'm not saying that there is no job security at all for Scrum Master, but what I'm talking is relatively. Okay, we must understand that when we are working in private industry, there is no 100% job security. Okay, it's all about how well you perform, how well you maintain your networks. Okay, but when it comes on a relative comparison basis, in my experience, I have felt that because BA being more closer to a technical role, so BA has better job security as compared to Scrum Master. Okay. Now, if you ask me which one should I choose, should I go for BA versus Scrum Master? It depends more on your inclination. Okay. See, at the end of the day, because I have worked as a BA, so I'll tell you that go for BA. But at the end of the day, you have to do your job. Okay. Suppose if you are good at managing people, probably you will be better suited at as a Scrum Master. If you are good at understanding the vision of a client, how that vision can be translated into a requirement, because the requirement is the basis for building software. Without requirement, there is no software at all. Okay. So if you are someone who likes connecting with people, who likes to understand what my customers are having challenges with, those how those challenges can be converted into requirements, or what kind of new visions or new requirements they have, and then let's work through those requirements. Okay, then you should definitely go for a BA role. But again, it's more of a personal choice. If you ask me, obviously my response will be biased because I have worked as a BA, so I'll be telling you to go towards BA only. Okay, any questions so far? Okay. I'll take the silence as no questions. The next one that we have is business analyst versus data analyst. Okay. Now, this is where some of the people were asking questions more frequently, like, do I need to know Power BI? What about Python? What about R language? What about SQL knowledge? Or do I need to know about Tableau? Okay. So you have a lot of questions around these, particularly because in lot of job postings, you would have seen that we are hiring for a business analyst. And the business analyst should know about client interactions, requirement documentations, along with Tableau or Power BI, Python, and SQL. Okay. Now, what before I answer that, what you need to do is in IT industry, there are multiple streams of work that happen. Okay, like there is infrastructure work, there is cyber security work. Okay, so all those different streams of work that happen, but I'll put my discussion over here on two particular streams. Okay, one is software development. Okay, and the other one is data analytics. Okay, so what essentially happens is software development is basically talking about building software, enhancing software. Take example of net banking portals. Okay, suppose we all have bank accounts. Suppose we have bank accounts in ICICI Bank. Okay, now I want to transfer money from my account to my friend's account. What can I do? I can go to ICICI Bank branch. I can go to the nearest branch. I can tell them that this is the amount of money. Take this money and send it to another friend of mine who has account at ICICI Bank only. Okay. But nowadays, who does that? Okay. Majority of the people, either we will be logging into ICICI Bank net banking portal or ICICI Bank mobile app. We will log in there, and after logging in, we will add a beneficiary and we will transfer money to the beneficiary. Even beyond that, if I don't want to do it through net banking, I can use UPI as well. Okay, but essentially what happens is net banking portal, UPI, all these are softwares. Okay, what happens with software is softwares helps you achieve a task. Okay, in this case the task is to transfer money, and the software like net banking portal is helping me transfer money from my account to my friend's account. Okay, so that is what software development is, where you are trying to build a software so as to provide solution for a problem, or so as to solve, or so as to provide some mechanism to fulfill a task. Okay, data analytics is your general softwares. Okay, whatever software you build, your general software over time collects lot of data. Okay, for example, ICICI Bank, suppose if ICICI Bank has 10,000 customers, okay, and 10,000 customers log into net banking portal. Okay, out of 10,000 customers, suppose if I am logging in and I am mainly doing two things. Okay, and those two things are check my balance, check my account balance, or transfer money. Okay. Suppose similar to me, 80% of the people, 80% of the customers are doing the same activity. That is check balance and transfer money to someone. Okay. But how will ICICI Bank know what the majority of the customers are doing? Okay. So through the regular software, they try to track the data as well. Okay. What each customer is doing after logging in. Okay. So the regular software will create the data. Data analytics is whatever data is created through the regular software, let's utilize that data to make some meaningful interpretations. For example, what are some of the things that majority of my customers do after they log into net banking portal? Okay. Suppose if 100 people called into customer care today, then I need to know what is the thing why they called actually the customer care. Okay. Is it to know about their account balance? Is it really a problem? Because if it is something that can be solved through software, maybe I can reduce my customers calling into customer care. Okay. So regular software will help you create a UI, user interface, through which a task can be achieved. Okay. While you are doing that task, the software will collect the data, put those data into tables. Okay. Those tables where the data is sitting, where the data is underlying, those data will be used by another data practices, wherein they will try to analyze data. Okay, so that after analysis they can make some meaningful interpretations. Like Amazon, suppose as Amazon, people are buying certain products across India. Okay, but I see that mobile phones on Amazon are mainly being sold on, let's say, Karnataka, Bangalore. So what I can do is, when I am procuring mobile phones, I can say 50% of the mobile phone should go to Bangalore, because this is where majority of the people are placing orders. Other cities, I can send mobile phones in lesser quantity. Why? Because I have data. I have data which says that majority of the people from Bangalore are buying mobile phones. Suppose in Hyderabad, majority of the people are ordering clothes. So I can put more clothes into Hyderabad. Okay. So my regular software helps you achieve a task, helps you create data. Okay. Whatever data is created in the regular software, the data analytics is where those data will be used. Okay. Used to make meaningful interpretations. Okay. Now, if you were traditionally the position of BA lies here in software development. Okay, you talk to client, you understand what business the client is in. Okay, how they make money, How are they interacting with customers? What kind of business are they operating in? What kind of business model do they follow? So because you were very closely working with client, trying to understand their business before creating a requirement document, before creating a software, that's why you were called business analyst. Okay. Now here comes the role of data analyst. Okay. So why data analyst? Because you already have the data that is created through the regular software. You are using that data to make meaningful interpretation. So basically you are reading the data or analyzing the data. Okay. So that's why the term data analyst. Okay. Now the requirement of Power BI, all those points that I have mentioned here, okay, all those points, they come over here as a data analyst. Okay. But to be honest with you, data analyst is not a big stream of work. Okay. Software development is a big stream of work. Okay. There are a lot of people involved in software development. Usually the work may last from 2 weeks to even 1 year also. Okay. If the work is big enough for 1 year, then obviously we will divide the work into smaller pieces, like one month for 12 instances, and try to finish up the work. Okay. So software development is a bigger activity, whereas data analysis, it's a bigger activity, but there is no continuous stream of work. Okay. So what essentially happens is, if you simply know Tableau, Power BI, Python, or SQL, you can maybe create an interpretation, let's say in 2 days, 3 days. Okay? Then what are you going to do for rest of the time? If you finish up your work early, then what are you going to do for the rest of the time? That is where the companies expect their data analyst to also talk to clients to understand what kind of reports are they looking for, what kind of data insights are they looking for. Okay. So as a data analyst, my primary job is to ensure that I analyze the data and create a report or create an interpretation. Okay. But because the work is not continuous for longer duration, so in order to provide more work to data analysts, what is happening is they are being asked to also interact with client, get to know what kind of reports they are looking, basically get the requirements from the client, then build the report and then share the report with the client. So that way you have more continuous form of work. Okay. Now, because you are doing with client interactions as well, so sometimes or some organizations would like to call such people as business analyst as well. Okay. Now, please note, business analyst traditionally refers to software development practice only. Okay. Nowadays, business analyst is being interchangeably used with data analyst for data analytics practice as well. Okay. Now, if you are someone who is looking for a job in data analytics, if you are someone who has read the term BA, okay, with Tableau Power BI, basically what they are saying is they have a job for you in data analytics sector. Okay. That means what you will be doing is you will be analyzing the data created by the software development activity. Okay. Now, our focus for a BA is not on data analytics sector. Okay, it's more of it's a sector that has taken popularity because all of a sudden, lot of organizations realized that why should we be paying Google, Microsoft, Facebook for buying the data? Okay, Google has lot of customer data. Facebook has lot of user data. So all the organizations pay good amount of money to Facebook, Google, and other social media platforms to buy customers' data. Okay. So what organizations realized is, why should I be paying them money when I can build my own data practice? Okay. So that I can reduce my dependency on Google. Say for example, I am HDFC Life Insurance. Okay, I sell life insurance policies. In the past, I have sold life insurance policies to, let's say, 50,000 customers. Now, out of 50,000 customers, I see 20,000 customers, their life insurance policy expired or matured. Okay, matured, and they did not renew or they did not buy a new policy from me. However, I can see what kind of previous policy they held, what kind of ratings they gave me, what kind of premium were they paying in their previous policy. So basis that, I can utilize the data, I can give them a personalized call that we have launched a new product specially for you, wherein you can invest 10,000 per month and you can get this much benefit out of it. Okay. So I can, one, as an organization having a data analytics practice, I can analyze the data that I myself creating. Okay. So that I can reduce my dependency on social media platforms like Google and Microsoft. So that if if I feel I'm running short of my targets this year, maybe then I can go to them. If I am able to meet my targets, if my business is progressing well, then I don't have to spend money on Google, Facebook, those kind of social media platforms. Okay. So because organizations started opening up their own data analytics practice, okay, so you saw a lot of uh, data analytics usage or these terms being used or getting popular in last 7 to 8 years or to 10 years or so. Okay. Now, if for me, because I have worked as a BA even before all these tools were being used, so for me, software development is what represents the BA. Okay. If you're talking about Tableau, Power BI, that means you're talking about data analytics practice. That means you're talking about the role of a data analyst. But again, organizations are using BA and DA role in name interchangeably. So if you want to apply for a true BA, okay, that means you are looking for roles over here. Okay. And now also we have another term here called product owner. So far with me, any questions? Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yes. I don't have any questions.
Okay. So if you are looking for, I know few of you had questions like, do we need to learn Python or those kind of things? So if you are someone who is interested in analyzing the data, okay, I have, let's say, customer information. I want to analyze how many customers do I have from a specific state. So that based on that, I can decide whether to open new offices in that state or continue with the existing number of offices. Which state is having less number of customers, so that I can decide what new strategy should I create for that particular state. Okay. So if you are someone who is more interested or inclined towards analyzing the data, so as to create a report out of it or interpretation out of it, that report will be used by leadership to create their strategy. Okay. So if you are someone who is good at that, or who is more inclined towards that, then you should definitely learn about these tools like Power BI, Tableau, Python, SQL, and aim to work as a data analyst. Okay. But if you are someone who is more concerned about knowing how how the business of a client works, how are they getting more customers, how are they expanding their businesses, what kind of businesses are they in, If you are someone who is more inquisitive about knowing the business part and then analyzing how software can help supplement their business, basically help into software development, then you should think about working as a BA in software development area. Okay. Any BA role or product owner role for software development area will never talk about Power BI, Python, or R. Okay. Now, it does not mean because the role doesn't ask, you don't have to learn. Okay. Again, it's purely out of your interest. So when I started working, I realized that we spend a lot of time in Microsoft Excel. Okay. So when I was doing a lot of things, I started learning about macros. Though learning macros is not part of my job description, but what I realized is if I know how to write macros, how to create macros, I can automate some of my tasks. So that way I can enhance or improve my productivity. Okay, so Manali, we discussed yesterday. Okay, so we will be mainly talking about Jira. Okay, that's where you will be creating user stories, epics. Okay, or you will be having grooming meetings or backlog grooming meetings, plus being part of other Scrum ceremonies as well. So that's one tool that we will be covering. The other one is Draw.io, okay, that we will be using for creating the flow charts. Okay, again, as a BA, in order to explain the functionality or flow of work for the software, you need to be good at creating the flow charts. Okay, so for creating the flow charts, we will be learning Draw.io. Okay. Other than that, you will be using the regular Microsoft Office tools like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint. But I am assuming that you guys have sufficient knowledge already onto these tools. So we will not be covering that as part of the course.
And also, do we need to know few SQL queries for BA? Not all, just few.
Not really. So again, if you are someone who is on the data side of the world, like analyzing the data, then yes. SQL or PL SQL, yes. But if you are someone working as a BA, then what can traditionally happen is you can always delegate some of your like SQL work to your developer as well. Okay, so you can ask them to run a SQL, get the data back, and then you can start looking at the data.
Okay.
Okay, but again, if you are someone who is interested in doing everything by yourself, then there's no one stopping you. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, I'll take the silence as no questions. So the third thing that we wanted to discuss today was in today's world, we keep hearing about artificial intelligence. Okay. Now till 2022, artificial intelligence was, more of a buzzword as something that you should try. Now, by the time we reached to 2025, it was more like AI is going to take away jobs. Okay. And again in 2026, you would be hearing predictions from a lot of tech, technical people that AI will be taking away many jobs. So the very first thing that we get worried about is when we hear the term AI is it going to take away my job? Now, before we get into that, okay, let's see how AI has actually transformed the way we are working. So earlier, what used to happen is whenever we get doubt, whenever we have questions, whenever we want to research something, what we will do is we will go to a search engine, preferably Google. Okay. Then type in our question there. And what Google will do is will have our questions, and what Google will do is Google will show a list of results. These results are nothing but different websites. Okay. What we will do is we will be navigating through each of those websites to find out which one is actually making sense to me. Okay. So sometimes I may get a result, sometimes I may not get a result. Okay. But the thing is, I have to go through a lot of websites to find out whether they are actually providing me the answer that I'm looking for or not. Now, when AI came into picture, what AI did was all I have to do is now instead of opening a search engine, I'll open up an AI tool. Okay. Like let's say Chat GPT. Again, I'll ask my same question. And instead of getting list of results, what happens now is I get specific answers. Okay. If I don't understand the answer, I can have follow-up questions as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much the difference that's happening. Okay. Earlier, I would get a list of results, basically a collection of websites. I have to scroll through each of the website to see which one of the website contains answer to my question. Now I don't have to do that. Okay. I ask a question, I get specific response, specific answer. If I do not understand the answer or if I have follow-up question, I can basically continue the conversation. So it is more like, talking to your friends or your colleagues or your seniors, where you ask them a question, they give you a response. Basis their response, you may have follow-up questions. Okay. So in the same way, instead of asking to an actual person, you are asking to a machine. Okay. Whether you understood the answer or not. Now that's typically what has actually changed. Now, obviously, people are liking more towards it because it is giving you specific responses rather than giving you a collection of websites. It is giving you specific responses. Plus, the second part is in addition to specific response, I can have a conversation. Okay. I don't have to every time start from scratch. I can have a conversation. Like I can say, what time is it in New York? Okay. First time I asked, what time is it in New York? Next time I can say, is it good time to go out? Okay. Now I did not specify New York or anything. I just asked, is it good time to go out? Okay. Then basis that the AI tool will automatically understand that I am asking about New York and I am asking about the current time. Okay. Is it good time to go out or not? So accordingly, it will give me a response. So I can have a continuous conversation as well. I don't have to provide the context every time I ask a question. Okay. So these two features, getting specific responses and ability to have a conversation, is what is driving these tools more popular. Okay. Now, because these are becoming more popular, they can essentially help you with some of the mundane tasks that you may not be good at. For example, I am not good at creating PowerPoint presentations. Okay. I have ideas. Okay, I have ideas, I have text, okay, I can write all of it. But the problem is I am not good at creating those charts, okay, or representing that idea in a fashion that can catch the attention of my audience. Okay, so I'm not good at it. I don't know which font to use. I don't know which diagrams to use. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't make sense to me. I'll spend a lot of time. Maybe I'll spend 1 hour to 2 hour getting the data, but then I'll spend 4 5 hours trying to create a perfect PPT. Even at the end, it still may not make sense. Okay. So because I'm not good at PowerPoint presentations, maybe I can take help of AI over there, artificial intelligence over there. I can tell them what exactly idea do I have. Okay. What I want in slide one, slide two, slide three, I can say put a nice picture over here, and I can give some context like it should be eye catchy. My audience is let's say students, so I want to be able to grab their attention. So with the help of that, I can create nice looking presentations. Okay, so that I don't have to spend my time over that. Similarly, if I am someone who is not good at framing statements, okay, let's say I know English, but then the problem is I know English, I can understand English, I can speak English, but when it comes to writing, I'm not good at putting down formal statements. Okay, again, I can convey my idea to AI and ask it to paraphrase my statements, and I can say in a more formal way. Okay. So some of these things will help me with my documentations. Okay. Now these are quite quietly the two things that I use, but along with it, like I was telling you, the macros. Okay, there are certain things that I am doing in Excel. Maybe I'm doing it manually. I can take help of AI and ask it, is there a way I can automate it? The problem is every day I have to do the same thing again and again. It takes 1 hour from me. I have to put in some data into Excel, create a report. Is there a way I can automate the creation of report from Excel? So that way I can save my 1 hour every day. So that 1 hour saved, I can dedicate it to some other project. Okay. So learning macros. Okay, now why I am giving you these examples, because essentially I'm using AI in my organization. Again, the AI that has been approved by the organization. Okay, not every organization gives you access to all the AI platforms. Okay, some of the organizations may have tie up with specific companies and they want you to use their AI platforms only. Okay. For example, in our organization, we are using Google Gemini. In some other organization, it could be ChatGPT. In some other organization, it could be GitLab Duo. In some other organization, it could be something else completely. Okay. So whatever approved AI system that's available onto your organization, try to use it. Okay, we don't have to be scared of AI. We don't have to run away from AI. Just consider it like a companion that can help you do your job in a faster way. Okay, if you are not going to do it, others will do it, and that's how people will be judged. Suppose if I am able to finish off my work in 6 hours, you are going to take 9 hours to do the same work, people will say that Rahul is more efficient. Okay. Why am I more efficient? Because I'm taking help of AI. It's not that AI is doing the entire work for me, but some of the mundane, monotonous things that requires lesser intelligence, that doesn't require much more intelligence, but lesser intelligence can be delegated to AI as well. Okay, so that way you are making use of AI to boost your productivity. Now that brings us to the question of whether AI will take my job or not. Now there are few things with AI that all organizations are wary of. Okay, the biggest of them is security concerns. Okay, so if I want an AI to play the role of a BA, essentially what do I want? I will create a software, an AI software that can go and talk to clients. Okay. If a software wants to go and talk to clients, that means I need to tell the software what are my client name, what are their email IDs. Okay. The software can go and set up meetings with them, talk to them, record the conversations, come back, create requirement documents. Okay. The AI software will have access to all this data. And that is where the enterprise organizations are worried about. I'm not saying everyone, but they are largely worried about that an AI system becoming so powerful, having access to all the data. What if the same data is shared with my competitors? What if? Because the AI system is owned by, let's say, some other company, not me. So that some other company who owns the AI system, what if they share the data, whatever I am creating with my competitor? Then I will lose my competitive advantage. Okay. What if the AI system learns about all my codes that I have written and go back and share best practices to my other competitors? Okay. In that way, other competitors will also start writing better codes. Then I will lose the only advantage that I have. So one of the key challenge that enterprise organizations face with 100% adoption of AI is security concern. Okay. How secure my data is. Will the AI system keep the data to my platform? Will the AI system take the data, learn, improve itself, and that improved version will be deployed to other competitors as well or not? Okay. If I can get an AI system that's completely dedicated for me, okay, so that whatever learning it is doing, the improved AI is again giving the feedback to me only, then maybe I can trust it. But again, still, because these businesses have been in existence for more than 30, 40, 50 years, some even more than 60, 70 years, okay, so they are not 100% sure about whether that can be achieved or not. Okay. Obviously, businesses are there for profits. So why will anyone give you their software, that too at a lesser cost? The second thing that's concerning is the cost part. Okay. It's not that AI softwares are completely free. Suppose if I have 10 people working for me, I'm paying them salary. If I want to replace those 10 people with AI, it's not that I'll get AI software for free. Even for AI software also, I need to pay something. Okay. So what's my cost versus risk factor? Okay. With humans and with AI. Okay. So though people who are actually uh, creating AI will say that the AI is 100% perfect, it's all reliable, we can get the job done fast. Okay, because they are creating a product, their duty is to sell the product, and they cannot sell the product by telling or by talking negative about it. They have to say that this is the only thing that is really working well. Okay. But is it really the case with enterprise organizations? See, I created a product. Let's say I created Chat GPT. But is it that all the companies like ICICI Bank, HDFC Life Insurance, HDFC Bank, all these big companies, are they really using Chat GPT or not? Okay, I can create hundreds of products, but if I'm not able to sell the product to the companies, then how will I make money? Okay. So as a business, I want to make money. I want to be profitable. How do I get profitable? How do I make money? By selling my software, by selling my product to enterprise organizations. But if enterprise organizations are not using it 100%, or if they're using it only 10, 20%, then obviously are these AI companies going to make money? That's where you see lot of AI companies, they are into majorly losses only. Okay. So at least the trend as of now is the enterprise organizations are very cautious. They are using AI, but they are using AI with caution. Okay. So what enterprise organizations, in my experience, what I have seen so far is enterprise organizations are asking senior members of the team to do the coding. Okay, people who have, let's say, who are architects, who are team leads or technical leads, okay, who have not done coding, let's say, in last 3 4 years, but who are good at designing the system. So they're asking them to do the coding as well, small code changes by taking help of AI. Okay? Because AI can take care of small coding work. So that way I don't have to hire complete freshers. Because if I hire a fresher, I need to give the fresher training. The fresher will make mistakes. Okay? So again, someone will have to go and rectify those mistakes. So that is one challenge or one area of concern where the enterprise organizations are going cautiously. Not 100% adoption of AI, but with significant adoption of AI, but again in the supervision of senior people only. The second part of AI or adoption of artificial intelligence actually restriction is is again, like I was saying, security concerns, data exploitation. So that is where, at least in BA roles so far, I have not seen AI taking over or coming and doing the 100% of the work. In coding, you can say AI has come in, started doing coding, but because a BA's role is more about customer facing, client facing, again, lot of data resides, confidential data resides between BA and the client. So organizations are not 100% sure if we should use AI replacing a BA or not. Okay. Organizations, enterprise organizations are definitely moving towards adopting AI, but the question is how much of AI? Okay. So along with security and risk, the last point is legacy softwares. Okay. We have some of the softwares, like I was saying, suppose if an organization is into business from last 60 years, they might have a software, 60-year-old software. Okay. Now, 60-year-old software, replacing them with a new software, again, it will be expensive. I can ask AI to analyze my current software and replace it with a modern software. Okay. But replacing my old or legacy software with a new software is not an easy thing. One, it is expensive. Two, it is defect prone. You cannot write a software that is 100% free of defect. The old software that would have been written, again, it would have had some defects. Those defects would have been fixed. So when you convert an old system into a new system, again, that new system will have defects. So you are not just looking at conversion cost, you're looking at cost of fixing the defects as well. Okay. So because there is lot of legacy software into action, again, organizations are little reluctant of using AI to convert that software, okay, to convert the software into more recent ones. And along with that, along with conversion, fixing the defects as well. Okay. I was part of a project where we were told to analyze the idea of COBOL to Java conversion. Okay. So a lot of code is written in COBOL. We were seeing if those COBOL code can be converted into equivalent Java code. The project ran for almost 1.5, 2 year. Okay, and at the end of it, it was realized that it is too expensive. It is too expensive to convert every single line of code from COBOL to Java. Plus, we cannot guarantee that it will be 100% conversion. There will be some manual intervention needed. So after expensiveness, manual intervention, then there will be defects as well. Okay. So overall, it became too expensive for organization to even go into that direction. So they decided, let's continue with COBOL only. Okay. So there was one such initiative project, but because of legacy softwares being in place, it is not a piece of cake to basically convert the software. Okay. So just be cautious. Enterprise organizations are definitely adapting towards using AI. Use AI to improve or boost your productivity. AI usage so far in IT has been restricted to two major things: writing code and automating tasks. Okay, automating tasks which require lesser intelligence. So, writing code and automating tasks with lesser intelligence. So far, it has not been adopted to the work that a BA does. Okay, so you can still say that as a BA, you can still continue to smile for some time. But then again, no one knows the future with 100% certainty. If you ask me, will AI replace everyone? There's no answer with 100% certainty. If you say, will AI be vanished by next year? No one knows with 100% certainty. Okay. But what we know for sure is with each evolving trend, you need to adapt. Okay. So earlier, the trend was, or before 98, 99, the trend was independent standalone softwares. Okay, with 98, 99 came the internet boom. Okay, now everyone is making websites. Okay, so that I can have one software accessed by everyone. Okay. Then again with 2006-7 time onwards, people started talking about cloud architecture instead of on-prem. Okay, so with each evolving technology, you just have to adapt. With that, we have come to the end of our 3-day demo series. Okay. Any questions?
So
Hi, sir.
regarding
Will we be able to get the complete syllabus for the 2 months period? Like what exactly you're going to cover for 2 months?
Yes. So you can contact on this number. Okay, so we have already published the content for the course. So you can contact on this number and get the syllabus for this entire course.
Okay, sir.
so if you want to continue, like, do we have class tomorrow?
Yes. Same time, same from tomorrow, we'll be starting with our actual BA classes. So the demo series was more for creating awareness, help you decide whether you BA is the right path for you or not. And from tomorrow, we'll be starting with our classes. So Manali, for placement assistance, I'm assuming that you're asking about resume preparation, mock interviews. So those we will be providing you support till you get placed. Okay. In addition to that, if we come across any job opportunities related to BA into or known organizations, we will definitely share with you. But if you are asking whether we will be directly placing you into some companies, then that might not happen. But irrespective of your location, whether you are in Mumbai or whichever city, we will be helping you with resume preparation, mock interviews, frequently asked interview questions. So that way, when you apply for any jobs, you are more confident in clearing the interview. Okay. And resume preparation will be basis your experience range. Okay. Now, resume preparation is basically I'll be giving you a simple template, so you can look through that template. Okay, and once you look through that template, you'll get to know. Obviously, we'll be having a dedicated class on resume preparation, so I'll be walking you through the template. What are the essential points that we need to mention in our resume? How to make our resume look like a more BA resume rather than working through your own resume, so that you can edit your resume basis the template that we will be sharing. If you want to use the template directly into your resume, that's also fine. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, I'll take the silence as no questions. Suppose if you guys get any follow-up questions that you were not able to ask during the demo series, please make a note of this number. At any point in time, if you have a question, you can reach us out on this number and we'll try to clarify all your questions or doubts. Thank you, everyone.
Like, how are the opportunities outside for BA currently?
Well, there are a lot of opportunities outside, as in within India, if you say. So earlier, the focus was on outsourcing the development activity. Okay, so you see a lot of developers, lot of testers getting into place. But nowadays, the focus is also on outsourcing the business analyst related activities as well. Yes, so as to ensure that there's a 24-hour work support that goes around. So that's where you see last 5 years or 6 years, particularly within India, a lot of new opportunities have emerged in terms of BA. Yeah, earlier, when I started my job in 2010, it was more about there will be a project manager from US, there will be BA from US, there will be SME from US, there will be architect from US, and basically from India it will be developers, technical lead, and testers or the testing team will be there. As we went through around 2016-17 onwards, now we have gotten more of managers as well and more of BAs as well. Okay. If you want to exactly know how many opportunities are there, you can look for business analyst onto your Naukri platform or LinkedIn platform as well. Okay. There are plenty of opportunities out there as BAs. Any other questions? Hey guys, well, thank you for your time, everyone. If, like I said, if you have any follow-up questions, reach us out on this number. We'll be able to help you.